So I picked from picked the clip, the poop scene basically, which is from about 11 minutes to 15 minutes of Slumdog Millionaire. And I chose this because it really shows the importance of Bollywood in India's culture and how in Jamal's life it's affected him and allowed him to know one of the answers on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So I also chose this because it shows how the movie is really organized, and throughout the movie it goes back and forth in times. It goes from the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire set to his past to when he's being interviewed about the questions on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So in the scene, it really shows all three of those parts. And the last reason why I chose it is because it really foreshadows in terms of character development. It shows the dedication that Jamal has, and that he'll go into a pile of poop to get an autograph. And this is reflective of the whole movie, since he is very dedicated to find Latika, and he ends up getting the autograph and Latika, so it just kind of parallels. And it also shows that Salim at a young age was very power and money hungry, and that he was willing to basically throw his brother under a bus in terms of how he gave away his autograph just for money. And he again does this later on with Latika, even though he knows the importance of her to Jamal. So I think that director's intent is to really show why Bollywood is so important in India's culture, and also to reiterate the character traits that Jamal and Salim have. So I'm just going to go through basically the entire clip and then go into that. But so you first begin with seeing Jamal on the toilet, and the color is very dull. The diegetic sounds include dogs barking, helicopters, and like kids running, and just kind of trash rolling around. And then it goes to a high angle shot, and it just basically sets the location. And there's massive amounts of trash with the like toilets, so you can just really see the poverty that's in that area. Soon after, you find out that Amitabh Bachchan, which I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but he's a really famous actor and director in Bollywood films. And so you find out that his helicopter is there, and then it zooms in on Jamal's face, and you can really see his excitement. And yeah, you just know that he's obviously into this actor. So directly after that, it goes to the montage of Amitabh, and the lighting is very different. It's much more bright. The colors are more vibrant. The non-diegetic soundtrack in the little clips of the movies makes it more lively, and it just kind of shows the better side of India and how Bollywood depicts it, and how different that is from the reality of it. So yeah, it creates a sharp contrast with Jamal's situation. And yeah, after that, the camera again goes back to Jamal, and it becomes more shaky, and that just kind of shows the franticness of Jamal and how he's really wanting to get out of there, but he's locked in. And he then pulls out a picture of the actor, and the non-diegetic sound of the movies featured before in the montage again plays. And it just kind of shows how in India's culture, Bollywood movies is a way to escape. And Jamal can simply look at a picture to escape the fact that he's going to jump into poop. And I think that's really important to know, that he can find his strength in just a picture, and that can allow him to do something as disgusting as that. So after that, you see him on top of a hill after he's gone through the poop. And not only does that make you focus on what is on top of him, but it just kind of makes like him seem triumphant, because in most Bollywood movies and just movies in general, when a character goes on top of a hill, you feel as though they've been successful with something. So as he goes down and weaves through the people, Bachchan ends up signing it. And during that shot, you only see the hand of the actor, while you see the face of Jamal. And that really, because Jamal is on the left and the actor is on the right, it creates this like line between poor and the rich, and that's just really like a social comment on the social classes in India and how the poor are really viewed as like poop and the rich are idolized. So this is again reiterated through the fact that the actor doesn't even notice that he has poop on him, and that just kind of shows that the rich don't really notice all of the poverty in India. So after he gets the signature, he's obviously really happy, and this is seen through the panoramic shot as he yells and holds the picture up, and the shot is very smooth, and this contrasts with the choppiness of the next shot, and that just shows Salim, and he's looking at his brother, and he's very like not satisfied with the situation, so he leaves. So after that, it goes to another completely different scene, and it shows the audience the high angle of India's slums, and it just kind of sets the location of where they are. And from there, and the shot's like preceding that, the camera is tilted, and this creates a very uneasy vibe, which mirrors what the film is presenting in this clip, since Salim is selling the autograph, and the audience just feels really uneasy about that and bad for Jamal. And he actually ends up going to a place where Bollywood films are shown, and that furthers the idea that Bollywood movies are really influential and are just everywhere in India. I thought this extract was really important in terms of the sequencing of the entire movie. For each question that's asked, Jamal refers back to his life and how he actually obtained that answer. So during this, the viewer really sees the different aspects of India, and this includes like the crime and the poverty, and just really the cultural differences from India and other parts of the world. And though these are really important things to recognize, Boyle understands the severity and significance of the Bollywood industry, and because of this, he added different techniques and references to that style of film in Slumdog Millionaire. So in terms of the movie as a whole, the plotline is very much like a Bollywood movie. From the 1950s to about the 1980s, rags to riches was a very present plotline in Bollywood movies, and this is obviously a major theme in Slumdog Millionaire. So another aspect is the ability to mix all the genres, so like action, fantasy, romance, and that's again seen in Slumdog Millionaire since it has basically everything in it. The last thing is the idea that there's a story within a story, and that's another major feature of Bollywood, and this is seen in not only the entire movie, but in this clip, and it goes from the story of him on the show to his past life, and then to him explaining his life to the detective. So, focusing on the clip, Bollywood is embedded through the use of montages. That's a very present thing that Bollywood uses, and they use it for the Bollywood actor, so it just kind of mends together. And another thing is the heroicism that's really seen in Jamal, especially when he's on top of the hill. This is seen a lot in Bollywood movies, even though it's seen in a lot of other movies. It's just really important to have a hero in the story. So Danny Boyle made a really strong statement in this clip about the gravity of the film industry in India. And in one of his previous movies, Trainspotting, a drug addict goes through a toilet to get his drugs back. And Jamal basically does the same thing in this movie, only he replaces like the drug with Bollywood and getting the autograph. And this is a pretty strong argument that Boyle makes about how Bollywood is their drug and the real like severity of Bollywood. Um, and Boyle depicts the Mumbai slums as being poverty stricken, obviously, corrupt, and unfair. And he then shows the viewer how important film is to them, seen through this clip. And because of this, the audience can make the connection between the two, and you realize and recognize that Bollywood is their escape from the terrible things that surround them. And even though it's really unrealistic, which can be seen through the montage, the fact that it is so not like the real life India, it just allows the Indian audience to forget about the horrors of reality. So this is kind of a shock for the target audience, which is basically adults who can handle violence and who just like a good story. Because most of the time, viewers are in it for the entertainment, but to realize and recognize that people do it to escape all of the terrible things in their life, it's really shocking. So this really makes for a new dynamic in the film, since it goes beyond how the film industry influences our culture, but why it does that. So I think, and that's one of the major reasons why it got such great reviews and won so many awards, since it really examined the culture in India and the stems and the reasons why it's like that. So this extract presents the influence and goes further by showing why it influences, seen through the poop scene and how he can take a picture and escape and do something gross like that. And it also it develops the character Jamal, which in turns exposes the true nature of Salim and how he's obviously not as dedicated and doesn't persevere as much as Jamal. And this is really crucial in understanding the difference between the brothers. And even at an early age, you can see a lot of foreshadowing and a lot of contrast between what they believe is important. And so, yeah.